Hello everyone, Zenitsu Gaming coming at y'all with another video, and local gameplay commentary videos are back, and this is the Union Arena locals. In the first round we have a green Bleach deck going against a green Saitama deck. Two very different decks, right? They both are green, but the play styles are very different. Both seeing some early drops. The Saitama getting to swing into life here early and is seeing a green color trigger in life on the first one there. So not bad. Being able to play out a body for free early on is pretty good. But having to play out an early body on the Saitama side like this is probably not ideal starting turns that you want to see. But he is going to swing in here, not hit anything crazy. Just going to, yeah, make sure, I thought so there. He should be at 3 since he went first. Just going to play down the king, and he is going to play the Raid King, which is really good. He's able to trash the character to blow up a body. That king is so good. And then gets another swing in here with the hero. Nice altar on him. Very interesting mix-up of zeros and ones in a lot of these green Saitama deck lists. It'll be really cool to see just how streamlined the decks get. Is going to be able to tap that character down, raiding in. Doesn't have enough 13 court cards to tap down the whole board, but that's fine. He's going to get some swings in here. Yeah, but the good thing about him is that he does not let you restand, because his stun effect is so good because it lets it not be able to restand until the end of the next turn no matter what you do. So really good card here. It is unfortunate that he checked a special trigger, but he has been able to pop off a little early in this game and is putting the Saitama player in a bad spot. He does have the king to cycle some characters, but is going to be able to use the king engine to get rid of another character. You see he's able to add one green character from his sideline back to his hand, which is why that terrible tornado is so good, able to get you back cards you need. Using the king's effect to trash cards into the sideline. Not able to swing out, but he is going to be able to block. Not with the king, though. The king is definitely the best card in the deck, and you want to get rid of it as soon as possible. Just able to domain expansion here, get back to action points. Is able to play with the unionarena that lets him draw. Is going to sideline the king, so that way he can't cycle. So good for him. Get rid of that as soon as possible. But yeah, that terrible tornado is a 4K, right? It is your double energy generator, but it is one of the few. Dang. Just gonna special trigger her out of the way. Not trying to get blocked out by this 4K body. And you can see here, if you're not able to high roll some early milling with the green Saitama decks, and you're not able to, you know, put out some bodies to block out early, you can see here, if your opponent is able to just play a couple special triggers or any character effects that can, you know, clear off your bodies that are on the front line, you're going to be put in a hard spot to try and scale into the game. He does still have 2 live. He's sitting around 10 in the trash. If he can manage to get something going on his energy line, he may be able, you know, to bring this game back, because as strong as the deck is, it really just takes one punch, right? So he is able to do the "we are fighting here, right now," whatever that card is called. I like the text on that card, really cool. Was able to play the Silver Fang, and is able to bring out the king, trash the Saitama, which lets him sideline a character, and then is just going to mill some cards with the king. I think he milled one of the Saitama that lets him draw a card there. That may be the other one. Yeah, it's the smaller one that lets you draw the card. The 2 action point one doesn't let you get anything when he's sidelined, but the 15 costs 1 action point Saitama. If you sideline him, you get to draw a card, right? So it's really cool. Has the 4 characters, and the king cannot block here, so this should be game. He gets to swing in and takes the game. We are going to see a different green Saitama player, and he is going up against a blue JJK player. this should be a pretty iconic matchup going forward into the meta, right? Like, definitely one of the best decks in the format. And then what a lot of people are thinking is going to be a very competent meta deck being the green Saitama, the yellow Saitama. Really, a lot of the One Punch Man decks are strong. I think that Speedosonic Sound is going to be one of the best aggro decks. We have Garo bringing up the rear end, and the Esper Sister is good too. But they are just able to both start off with some 0 drops. The green Saitama is able to play the draw 1, trash 1, which is really good for him. And that king lets him pay an action point to draw another card, which is really, really good. And nice for the blue JJK player, able to, you know, use the finger here, get the free draw, able to tap his Yuji to avoid having to trash the life. But definitely something you want to see early on. Hopefully he does have other characters in the hand. And unfortunate he's having to pass the turn here with all those cards in his hand. He doesn't have a 0 or 1 drop to continue his plays, but he was able to activate that finger. Not the worst thing, considering your opponent's only on turn 2, and they're not going to be able to do anything crazy either. So as long as he can see one off this extra draw here, he should be okay. From the looks of it, it looks like he's counting his hand. He may have to trash some cards here, and this is going to feel really bad if he does not have anything to play. I think he's just probably thinking here what he wants to get rid of. And yes, unfortunate, he does have to trash a Nanami to pass the turns. You can't have more than 8. This does happen in the card game, right? I do think that lately a lot of people in the community talking about how bad it feels to not draw any 0s and wishing that you got another mulligan. But I do think getting 1 mulligan, if you're not able to see a 0 after that, then maybe you need to reconsider how many 0 drops you're running in your deck. But on the Saitama player here, you are going to see that once this king gets online, you are able to really take off. He is able to play the Silver Fang, which is a really important card in the deck. It is the color trigger, and then when it's played, it lets him look at the top card, and he gets to either put it back on the top, bottom, or trash it. You're usually going to want to trash it, and the reason that card is so good because it's when played, when attacking, and when blocking. You get to do that, so it's a lot of cycling in the deck, essentially going to get you, you know, 3 cycles like the king does, but without having to, you know, waste any value not being able to block. And it is, I want to say, 4,500, right? So really strong character to put onto the board. Lucky on the Sukuna, the blue JJK player side now, he is able to play out a couple characters, was able to, you know, draw 1, trash 1, and now he has the Gojo. So not in a horrible spot because Saitama really doesn't pressure you down too hard in the game without the, you know, Saitama's being able to finish it, but you do have to provide some pressure against your opponent. He is able to play the king here. King can get, you know, anything I think that's 6 or higher in any card with king in its name, and if you add something, you have to trash something, but he is going to use his king's effect that lets him trash the top 3. He gets to do the Silver Fangs effect. That must be a Saitama or something really, really good if he's thinking about it like that. But it was just another Silver Fang. It looks like the altar of the Silver Fang or something. That is a nice looking card. Swings into life just to get trigger here. Is going to be able to swing in with the smaller character. Just another get trigger. And nice, just another Gojo. Some of those get triggers are a little unfortunate for him, right? Because he has so many cards in his hand. And unless he has a domain expansion, he's really not going to be able to push out a lot of these cards he has in his hand. And hopefully he can find some way to slow down this Silver Fang that is putting on so much pressure on him, being a 4,500 body. He does finally see the Sukuna. Hopefully this does not, he doesn't regret doing this and it messing up his energy line, because we know that he doesn't have, you know, the best energy curves, but he is sitting at the 3 energy, so maybe he'll be okay now. He is able to get the cycle with the Sukuna, is playing off a Nanami in the back line. Does see the domain expansion, which lets him be able to progress this play a little bit. He does not have a Yuji on the board, so he cannot do this Divergent Fist. I think he's looking at it, seeing it now. I don't think that he should be able to sideline or bottom deck the Silver Fang, because I think you need to have a Yuji. I could be wrong. Oh, that's the other one. Yeah. he has the Nanami out. He's able to bottom deck that. Yeah, I get mixed up. I know some people do like a 2-2 split of the Nanami kill spell and then 2 of the Divergent Fist. And then, yeah, he does have a Nanami, so he is able to put that on the bottom. But he is able to raid into another king here, which lets him sideline the Sakuna. Now, these kings cannot swing here, but if he has enough, he could be able to play out the Saitama here. And it looks like he is at 15 in trash. And yes, he is able to play down the Saitama since he has the energy generation. Swinging in here, you do get to pick all of these triggers and do them in any order that you want to. So technically, the blue JJK player should be able to look at all of these cards and then decide what he wants to do. He hasn't flipped the other one over yet. It wouldn't have mattered anyways without it being, you know, a 0 cost or a final trigger. But we are going to have Green Saitama going against Suzaku here. I do think that this is a horrible matchup for Green Saitama. And you will have to check out my tier list video. I'll try to link it in the description or put it at the end of this video for you guys to check out. But I think Suzaku is sitting in a good spot because you can put a lot of damage on Green Saitama players with the damage too early to, you know, try to get them down really, really low before they're able to put, you know, the Saitama out to answer back on you. So I think that Suzaku is in a good spot here. They both do see the 0 energy drops. He is able to get in the early swing here. Nothing crazy, just the king, which I think... sorry about the glare. It wasn't glaring like that in the sideline last time, but I think that that was a king trigger, which I think is a get trigger to the hand. I could have been wrong, but hard to see what's in the sideline. Searching here just to be able to trash something. Suzaku sitting at the 2 energy, so not a ton of plays he can do here to really push to save the game, but he could set up his energy line to get ready for maybe a 6 drop Lancelot, and maybe that's what he's thinking about here. He's like, what do I want to push this, save the game? I'm ahead of the game. I can put pressure on my opponent. He is moving up, just gonna play live to get back another action point. He is only at the 3, but now he has a Suzaku, so 2, 3, 4. He's only at 5, but he is going to search for the mech here with this last one. He does get the Cornelia mech, which is awesome, and then is able to raid into the mech here. Look at the top 5 and play a character that's 2 energy or less. I do believe so. I like this character a lot in the deck. Just going to choose to replace one of the characters on the energy line and bounce back the card to his hand. Interesting choice there. Maybe choosing to not want to, you know, play her on the front line and bounce something, then he would really have messed up his energy line, right? So I think in that instance, seeing that character, you're forced to put it on your energy line. The green Saitama player definitely not seeing his curve the way he was in the game we saw before this one, but he's gonna have to put something on the board here, right? Like his energy is not looking great. He can't play anything down. If he doesn't get a double blocker Genos down on the board, I think he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. He is able to progress his state here with the the awesome wording. Is like, it's about you and me here now. We're about to fight, whatever that card is called, but. Just sets up his energy line, doesn't have anything out there. Probably okay for him, though, because he knows that a mech is probably coming down here. Gonna move up everybody, just choosing to put more characters on the energy and take the extra draw. Just going to choose to swing in, is able to raid into the king, and should be able to trash a card, draw a card, trash a card here to sideline something. And I don't think he has anything big enough to sideline the mech, which is unfortunate for him here. But he does need to pick something to sideline. No, he has a Saitama. And he's just going to kill the Suzaku. That way that he can't just free raid on top of that. He would have to move up 1 from his energy line. Nice that he gets a Saitama trigger in life. But now that he's sitting at 3 life here, he is in range to just get mech'd out next turn. We see that he still has 2 Suzakus on the board. He does not have enough energy generation to play out the Saitama, but I think now he may because he has 10, and then those reduce it by a further cost. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can reduce it by 6. and he is generating 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 energy, I think. Maybe he's at 10. Hard to tell here. What he's going to do is just going to play, down the Terrible Tornado, which lets him add 1. Going to use the King's effect to trash 3. Unfortunate that Silver Fang was in there. He is just going to use the King Engine to sideline the mech. And not looking good for him here. Wasn't able to play down a Saitama, and he is definitely getting mech this turn. As long as he's got one in the hand, he knows that it's coming. He's at 8 energy generation here. He could just play, Suzaku on the front and raid on that Suzaku. So that way he, doesn't have to, mess up his energy line, and that's exactly what he should be doing here. Yep, getting rid of her, and the king can't block anyways. And then now, nothing in the life, just another king. Unfortunate that he didn't get to run through there, but you can see the pressure that Lancelot is able to put on Saitama, and that's why I said I think it's a great matchup for Suzaku going into green Saitama. In the finals here, really awesome to see a red Demon Slayer deck. All the Demon Slayer decks, everybody is, hyping up Onepunchman because it is the newest set, but we don't need to forget that Demon Slayer was also a really good set, and it has a ton of good cards in it. I think that red Demon Slayer is a really, really good aggro deck that you can definitely play. And you should be sleeping on it. Like, if you've not played against Red Demon Slayer, you need to play against it so you know what's going to happen. The Inosukes and the Zenitsus both give each other a lot of value to try to push the state of the game for your opponent. We see both players being able to curve out here, set up their energy lines, and then the Suzaku able to get in a good early check in this game, which I think that he's been doing a really good job in the last game and in this game, putting pressure on his opponent while he builds up the mechs, which is a great way to play Suzaku. A lot of times, a lot of people play Suzaku and just worry about their energy line and don't provide a lot of pressure on their opponent early. And I think in this instance, he's been doing a really good job pressing the game with some of these smaller characters. And he's just seeing here what the Zenitsu does since the Inosuke is out. I think that it has damage 2, so he's definitely not wanting to take that 2 damage, and it is going to block out the Zenitsu here. Really, really strong card, and while you're seeing how it can put out so much pressure, because as long as I think it's Tanjiro. Regardless, he has Inosuke, maybe, and he has the Tanjiro on the far left. Right, we see it there. So he does have the damage 2, and he was able to draw 2 because he had Inosuke. So those effects are a little confusing, but really, really good. You get full value if you have the other 2 out. Very cool deck. He is able to play Suzaku out here, plays out the mech hard, and then just uses the Varus to sideline the character. And you can see he's doing a great job here, once again, controlling the board early with the characters that he has, and finding a way to make it until he can get into one of his mechs. Is just going to take the extra draw here, is going to go back to the 3 action points, able to play a Zenitsu down, and is able to raid into another Zenitsu, which, he has the Inosuke, so he's able to draw 2 cards and then put one from his hand into his sideline. And since Tanjiro is on the field, he does have damage 2, so lucky enough he did play that mech down, so he can block this out, or he could just block out the Inosuke and just take that 2 damage, which is probably going to be the better play to do here. He is just going to hard play the Inosuke down on the board. He's going to let him get the 2 damage, which is just going to be a draw trigger and a final trigger, and then he can just block out the Inosuke. So nice on him to be able to get that pressure down, but we are going to see the Cornelia mech here, letting him search the top 5, able to play a character out. She is played out, rested though, so it's only 2, 4, 5 energy, but he didn't go into a mech, so it doesn't matter here. Does see another Varus to special trigger out the Zenitsu again. Very fortunate for him to see these special triggers on these Zenitsus, because they provide a lot of damage early. So nice of him to be able to see those to clear some of those bodies. And now once again, the red Demon Slayer player is in a bad spot, having to push up these characters. He does have the 2 energy Inosuke on the back line, is able to play down the Zenitsu to play down to get back to 2 action points, is going to play down another Zenitsu, and he is going to raid on top of the Inosuke on the left hand side. And this Inosuke does have impact 1, able to swing in with the other Inosuke. No trigger to play out here on the color trigger, gets to block out 1, and then does get the get trigger on the mech here. Choosing to move up a Suzaku here. Maybe wants to keep that down because he's only at 2, 4, 5, 6. He's only at 7 energy. Going to choose to draw a card. Going to play 2 for the Charles, which is a great play because it lets him, you know, look at the top 3, I think, and then get a card to play out. The Charles is a good tech in this deck. You look at the top 3, add 1 card among them, place the rest at the bottom, and then you reduce the AP cost of the next event you use from your hand this turn. The way you want to combo him is with your get your 2 AP back cards, right? Because you don't have to pay for that card. Hopefully he has one in his hand. I think he's just asking here what he has. Yep, gets to live, and you see that combo is so OP playing the Charles to get a live out, and he has another Varus in the hand. Oh, wow. Very fortunate of him to see, I think that's 3 or 4 Varuses now, right? To clear off some of these bodies. Not having a way to clear these bodies off, it poses a lot of danger to you. But he is fortunate enough to have seen another one to clear off that Inosuke. Because that Inosuke would have had impact and game for next turn, regardless of if he put up the bodies. I think he's just telling him here like how he was able to get back to the action points. Just plays, yeah, all 4 of the Varuses, bro. That's kind of wild. Like he saw all 4 of the kill spells, and it was able to definitely like clear off the board here. Very fortunate for him because you can see the pressure that the red Demonslayer was providing to him. Multiple instances now where last turn he could have had all the damage, and this turn he would have had a game coming up now here. And he has already played a lot of his raids, so I think he's going to just end up, out of steam. Like, he's already played so many cards, played so many raid characters, and now he's just going to have to hard play other characters, showing here that he doesn't have enough energy to play that one down, and just plays it in the other order. Is at least going to get 1 attack in here, putting him down to 1 life, but you can see now where that Inosuke impact would have came in clutch, and now seeing the mech in the hand, I think that is just going to be game because he can come up, he can just play energy on the back line to put him to 8, and he can sideline a character. Now he does have the impact, and he has the damage too on that mech. Just going to swing in. He gets the color trigger, I believe, here. I think that this is maybe an active trigger, letting him be able to block out. I can't remember what that Rengoku does. I think it was an active trigger, and he does hit a raid, but I don't think that he knows that this character has the impact. But yeah, that active trigger did definitely help him there because he was able to block out the mech. But I think without, the impact, he does have the Zenitsu. Ooh, he has the Zenitsu here, which the Zenitsu may let him fix his hand. The Zenitsu will have damage too, so he's going to have to block that Zenitsu. I think you definitely swing at the Zenitsu first, make him have to block out here. But he can, I think, block out characters here because he has the Charles. I think he has the numbers to be able to just block out here because the mech is big enough to, be able to block him out. And I think he should be fine now, right? Because he keeps his impact 1 on his character, and now he does not have a way to stop that impact. And very fortunate here to swing in. No final trigger in life. That was a very fun back and forth game for sure. The green Suzaku able to clutch it out, still in a really good spot in the meta. I did want to take a little bit longer on these deck lists at the end, so that way you guys can see it here. We really need to, figure out what these lists for green Saitama will end up being. You can see he's just running a 3-3 split of both of the big Saitamas here, and then doing a 2-2 split of the Silver Fang and the Terrible Tornado. Running a lot of double energy generators in the deck is definitely the way a lot of people see that you need to do it. And obviously running 4 of all the kings, because the king engine in the deck and the actual card king engine are all very, very important for you to see your pieces and able to combo off. Really solid list here for sure for this deck if you want to take it and try it out for yourselves. Up next, we do have the red demonslayer coming up, and this is also a very interesting deck. I know a lot of people don't know about this deck as much, so I wanted to take a little time on this one as well for you guys to see it here. I do think that those two Rengoku came in clutch probably throughout the tournament for him, giving him another active trigger. Really good cards here, and this deck can really provide a lot of pressure, and you have, you know, the 8 raid targets that you can consistently see some raid characters, and then I think that the kill spell is also really good too. I think, you know, we can see where this deck goes. I think that if you're sleeping on Red Demon Slayer, you are, you know, setting yourself up for failure, because the deck is really, really good. And you see, there was a lot of instances where he could have had game in that matchup with this upcoming deck list, which is going to be the green Suzaku deck list, which is pretty figured out now. I think a lot of people are just deciding whether they want to run the Cornelia mech or the other mech, but I do think that his tech of the Charles in the deck is absolutely so cool to see. I love to see the creativity of the Charles. You can see how busted it is once you get to play down your live for free, which essentially just gives you another turn. But that is the deck profile for that. Suzaku is our winner. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me today. Please leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Peace.